Great, good afternoon and almost good evening to everyone. It's actually quite late, so I'm very pleased that so many of you managed to get here. I will tell you a little bit about Mobile Connect, what it is, and also what we've achieved in the last few months. So Monday, we announced that there's 2 billion enabled users of Mobile Connect. That means 34 operators in 21 markets, and there's more to come. It's been a fantastic journey, and what I wanted to show is the amount of scale and plurality of countries and operators behind such a huge achievement that's been made just so quickly as well. So this means we're here to stay, and there's more to come. This is the current operators in the markets that have now launched and are about to launch the service as well. So as you can see, this is quite enormous, and it's quite a scale and at a pace that has not yet been done before. We're talking here about enabled users. There's 2 billion of them. That's quite significant. It's what operators do really well. They do coverage. But what is really encouraging is that we're already starting to see the response from the end users. The beautiful introduction we had here by Marshall D. Jones, a spoken word poet, talking about the passwords and the problems with passwords and logging in and your digital identity. We see this is resonating with the consumers as well. So already just in the last few weeks, I think this number was 70,000 last time I made this speech, and now it's 80,000. It's been a fantastic response so far, but there's still much more to come. And the focus that we're having now as the GSMA is to continue to drive the innovation and, more importantly, the collaboration across the operators in the markets so that this is a service that will reach all the consumers. I have a few data points here from Turkcell that we're willing to share with us now after, again, just a few weeks since the launch. What really stood out for me was that 5% of their logins to the self-care portal today is using Mobile Connect, and there's been no above-the-line advertisement. This is really a response that I find quite fantastic, and it shows how intuitive and intuitive the service is, and also the fact that it is responding to something that the consumers find really complicated and tricky, i.e. passwords. Okay, so just to kind of summarize some of the key points that I've already been saying in terms of why is Mobile Connect, what are we doing with Mobile Connect, why are the operators think this is important, and the first and foremost is that it's simplifying the daily lives of the consumers. It is convenient by the fact that it eliminates the password, but it's also trusted, and privacy and trust is at the cornerstones of what Mobile Connect is. We have privacy principles in place that the operators and any relying party of the service is adhering to, which means that no personal information is being shared without the consent. And this is important. We are really taking the position of we're here to protect the privacy, we're here to protect the data of the consumers. It's also secure in the sense that it's leveraging the infrastructure of the operators already that are secure and well-managed networks. We did a consumer study a few months ago where the response was quite positive. 68% of the users are saying that forgetting password is a significant problem. I'm one of them. I think I have 50, 60 digital accounts, and I have about 5 passwords. Don't tell that to the hackers, please. So if somebody steals my password, I can get in everywhere. Also, 40% that list using the lost password button at least once a month. So what I'm saying here is that we are addressing a fundamental problem that everybody has in their digital lives. We're starting with something that is very simple, like authentication, replacing the passwords, but there's much more to come. And I will show you in a few slides how this can address the digital identity for other use cases as well, how it's expanding into more functionality to really provide value to the economy. Service providers, any relying party that would like to optimize their digital transactions by the use of Mobile Connect, that's what we call them. They have a big problem with the friction that passwords and also about it's introducing in engagement with the end users, but also the fact that they don't really know who their users are. Within a digital transaction, you can talk to anybody. Anybody can be, Mickey Mouse on the internet. So these are problems in the market that we are here to respond to, that Mobile Connect is responding to, and which has significant economic value indirectly in the sense that it's reducing the fraud and the friction for online service providers. Interesting point here as well, 74% of users abandoned their shopping cart in 2013, and this was a significant increase. And this is probably even more now. And as mobile is becoming the primary tool to access the internet and also to increasingly doing e-commerce that we learned in the last few days as well in other presentations, it's becoming even more important that it is less friction and a much better and more convenient user experience. Okay, so why are the operators interested in this? Of course, we can talk about revenues. And there's probably proven that there is some in terms of authentication, at least when you're talking about a valid and true identity. But the most important thing is really to be relevant, to be important, to be to solve the problems of end users, and also in the fact that having a digital interaction with their users again is something that improves their own cost base and it improves the engagement with the users, which is why we see that operators that are launching Mobile Connect is starting with their own internal services, their self-care portal, their content services and so forth, in order to benefit from Mobile Connect basically. We have a nice example, I think I might have mentioned this before, call centers. Instead of answering questions to authenticate and to confirm your identity for a call center, you can't see the person, you can't provide your identity card, they can now enter a PIN on their phone using Mobile Connect. And that's quite a nice that you know for sure it's the right person that you're talking to and you can provide the service and the advice that that person is entitled to. Okay, so I mentioned before that we are starting now very simply with authentication, which basically means that you're confirming that you're the same person that you were last time. So it's basically replacing the password. You can replace the password by clicking OK. You can replace the password by entering a PIN to make it much more secure. What's coming now, very, very soon, and we're working as fast as we can to build on the momentum that we now have with so many enabled users, is to expand into authorization, which means that you are authorizing an activity. You're permitting somebody to perform an action on your behalf. I can allow my children to access Lego's website, as an example, by entering a PIN on my phone. I give them that permission. This is opening a whole raft of new use cases within Internet of Things, within payment authorization, but also in terms of anything that requires somebody else wanting to perform an action on your behalf. Imagine or being able to order your medications online and then having somebody else picking it up because you're too sick to get it picked up, and so forth. Really being able to confirm confirm that an action can be done on behalf of yourself. This is also now quickly being expanded into confirming the true identity of the person performing the transaction. It might be as simple as the MSISTN. Increasingly, the MSISTN is becoming your digital identifier in many markets, as we're seeing. But also to simplify the process of signing up for a new service. You can then add your name, your last name, your first name, your email, maybe your MSISTN, maybe other fields that's important. Again, reducing the transactions for reducing the friction in digital transactions. And I think the last one here around national identity, we're going to hear much more about that later as well. But of course, Mobile Connect supports the exchange of the true identity as well, that be suitable for government use cases as well as for banking and more secure cases. We have much more plans. You can see they're coming beyond in release 3. So I just wanted to make it very clear that while we're starting now with very simple authentication, solving a very simple problem in terms of passwords, there's much more to come, and that the framework and the global interoperability is consistent across the evolution of Mobile Connect. Okay. I also wanted to highlight, I talked now around the technology, around the product. What we're also doing is that we are making it easy to sign up to the service, even if it is delivered by now 34 operators, and as I said, more to come, soon 40 operators. To simplify that process, we have what we call a developer portal that's managed by the GSMA, where any relying party can go in and sign up for the service, and then automatically, with a single click, contracting with all the operators. And this is, again, unprecedented. That's not something that has been done before at this scale. So here we're really trying to make sure that this is something that's easy to get started with for any relying party.